It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, WGNSSports.com, and Big G TV.
And this portion of the Coach's Show is brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a complete, tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. And joining me here on the first rung of the program this morning is Matt Kriesky, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. And we are so glad that you're here, and I know you're glad to be here, still being here and still being alive, right?
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm just glad you're back in studio.
Well, thanks.
I know why you missed so long. It's because Floyd and my brother's not here today, so you decided to come back because you didn't want to listen to them.
It got so bad. Yes. I had to take a break from it a little bit. Well, congratulations, first off. One of the biggest, I'm not going to say the biggest game in Blackman history.
You can say it.
But it probably, in my opinion, it is.
Yeah.
And I know kudos to the coaching staff and those boys that went out there last night and got the job done.
Yeah, man. I hope I don't get emotional, and I know it's not done yet, but man, I'm really proud. Not just our kids, but for the school, for the community. What I saw last night is what we've been trying to build for the past 3 years, and just to see the smile on the community member's face, man. Mr. Laws came and shook my hand last night at the 50-yard line afterwards, and just to see his smile, and I just knew it. It meant something to him. Mr. Smith, it meant something to him, and that's what it's about. You know, these guys has been there since the doors have been open. And for them to be able to, it's not about me, it's not about our team, but it's about these guys when been there since the school's been open and really been building this school, this community, and for them to get this win, man, this is for them, those guys.
When you first came to Blackman, I know we talked. We had I think I was the first person to interview you, and you said they're going to have to adapt to your policies and your way of doing things. And last night seemed like a culmination of all those things just kind of put together. As close to a perfect game as you can get, I think.
Yeah.
And we talked about that it might take a couple of years, and lo and behold, it really has. You guys are here. Regardless of what happens from here on in, I think you all have made a statement that you're here to stay.
Yeah, I get a lot of negative talk about, I want to be a physical football team. I want to be able to run the football. I want to be physical up front and control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That's who I am. That's what my dad breeded me to do. He was a former O-line coach, and so that's what I grew up around. So just running the football, controlling the clock, playing great defense. I will never forget when I became a head coach. My dad told me there's two coaches you need to hire. Your first coach needs to be an offensive line coach, and your second hire needs to be a defensive back coach. And I think we've got one of the best offensive line coaches around, and we do have the best defensive back coach in the state. And so, and it shows. We've gotten better. And I can say this right now. My old line coach probably doesn't like me a lot. And I'll be honest, but he's stuck through and been with me for 3 years, through the good and through the bad. But we really had a heart-to-heart going into fall break. Like, we've got to be able to run the football better, and we've got to find a way to get better. And he took that as a challenge and accepted the challenge. And since we got back from fall break, I feel like we have established our run game, and we have gotten better. And that shows you what type of coach he is. Him and Coach Anderton, Coach Eddings, Coach Lazenby, man, they do a great job with our guys, with our offensive line, with our H-backs, man. And I'm really proud of them and how they've developed these guys, and accepted the challenge that I presented them, and really gotten that group really better, bought in, and you can tell those guys have enjoyed practice the past couple of weeks, and it's been fun. And I told somebody last night, these guys have embraced practice since fall break. They've embraced practice since the playoffs, and it's not just about winning, man. These guys, this group loves being around each other, and it's fun. It's just, I told them last night, like, I don't want it to end because it's a special group. I don't want it to end, and it's been fun. And I got to say this, man, my wife's probably glad this week is over with because I probably was the illest, angriest person when I got home from 6:30, 7 o'clock at night this week, all week, and because I want these guys to have success. It's not about me. It's about them. It's about this community, and I get so worked up. I had coached on the headset last night telling me to calm down. I want these guys to have success. I want this community to have success. They deserve it.
And when you mentioned fall break and how the running game did get better. I mean, it got a lot better, and it seemed like the wins became more impressive as you went along. And you had some big wins. You had a win over Riverdale and that kind of thing. But how impressive you were winning. You kind of, and I hate to say it, and I don't want to jinx anything, but you've run through the playoffs pretty well. I mean, it's been impressive the way y'all have taken care of business and had a big long road trip. People forget about that, the 4.5 hour drive to Dobbins Bennett. But then you come home. You had to feel good that game was at home. But Maryville has so many weapons and so many different ways that they can beat you. I know in the back of your mind you're probably thinking, no, all the points in the world, still not enough.
Yeah, I mean, I was, Coach Eddings upstairs. He's Coach Eddings has been upstairs with me for about, I guess, 4 or 5 years with me at Centennial now here, and he knows what to say to me during these times. And when we were up 14 points and I was still worked up, he was like, "Coach, relax, just relax. Keep calling what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Just calm down." He goes, you get worked up, it's going to show. And so, you never with a Maryville team, you don't know. I mean, I don't care if it was 39 seconds left. You don't know. That's how good they are. That's how explosive. We came in last Sunday with the offensive staff, and first thing we all said. I mean, everybody agreed. We have to control the time of possession. We have to keep their offense off the field. We all said that. We all were in agreement. They have a quarterback up for Mr. Football. Their receiver's going to Austin P. Heck of a receiver. I was very fortunate to talk to him after the game. They got a running back who's really good. And offensive line, they were huge. Mm-hmm. And so if we let them on the field for the majority of the time and, kept our defense out there, it wasn't going to be good for us. And so we challenged our offensive line this week, challenged our running backs, challenged our quarterback, and we told them, like, we have to be on the field. We may not get points, but as long as we're taking time off the clock, that's a huge success for us during the game. We drove down there in the second half and got 3. Yeah. And we should have scored. We got a holding penalty, delay game, which is on me, not the kids. It's on me, and 2 penalties, which we were inside the 10. That's you can't do that against teams like Maryville, Oakland, Ravenwood, and so we were fortunate. We got 3 out of it, but that can't happen next week.
How important was it that first drive? You get the ball, you go down the field, you score, and get that early lead. I felt like that was a big help in the overall game plan and what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. We didn't know Javion's status until 7 o'clock last night. He got banged up last week on Tuesday, and so we didn't know what was going to happen. And I want to give a huge shout out to Marcus Cameron. Man, that young man is, I can't say enough great things about him. Anybody else in his shoes and in his position probably would not be a Blackman right now. But man, the way he prepares each and every week, he prepares like he's going to start. And he, whatever happens, moving forward, man, that young man's got a bright future. And I'm really proud of him, how he's prepared and really he's helped this team get better, the way he runs our scout team. And so, didn't say anything, and I saw him celebrate last night just like he was the starting quarterback. So I'm proud of him. Javion did a great job, overcome his injury, did a great job leading the team, and making the plays we needed to make. He made some runs that I didn't think he was going to be able to make last night. I talked to my brother, and one of the things that he felt like we would have advantage in would be with Javion win the pressure and breaking down and running the football, and we saw that he did that last night. Really proud of him. Got to give huge shout out to our defense: James Stewart, Tremel, Isaac Levy, Jarrison Daniel, Isaiah Bowles, Emery, Trey Thornton, all those guys on defense. Man, our defense was flying around last night. I've been doing this for a while. I don't know if I've ever seen a defense flying around. I was fortunate part of a 2008 state championship, and I thought we had a really, really good defense. Man, they're right there up there with that group.
They say, Coach, the game's won in the trenches, and you won that battle. And I thought really rather easily. I wouldn't have said it during the game, but after looking back, the pressure that they put on Jones almost all night that's hard to do. I mean, for a whole game, and even in the last play of the game when they're trying to score, the defense stood up, and that's an impressive. And not that. It was I think that's a pride thing. We want the score to stay where it is.
There was 39, I believe it was 39 seconds left, and I said something to Coach Crosby. I said, I don't want to score. But I don't know why I had any doubt in our defense that they wouldn't let them score. You saw that. They executed and did what we asked them to do, and and they didn't want to get in the end zone. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't the play where we fumbled and gave them the ball was inside the 10. That was on me. I called a play that I shouldn't have. Javion was rolling out and with his ankle, shouldn't have been rolling out. And so it was on me. Put our defense in a really bad position, and but they didn't come out there that play. Let them score on that first play, but. One thing I was impressed, kids didn't get down.
They came right back, and scored.
Came back, we scored, and so that's who we've been all year, and that's one of the most things I've been impressed with this group is that when something like that negative happens, we just don't get down, and so proud of them, how we overcome that, and I just told them, we can't let them back in the ball game. And then we got in at halftime, and I told the kids, like, the game's not over with. Like, we may have won the first 2 quarters. But we got 4 quarters, guys. We got 24 minutes left. How are we going to respond? Because they're going to come back. This is a great team. How are we going to respond? And I thought they did a really good job last night. And I'm really proud of the guys. Really impressed. We've got a really tough challenge next week. And it's something that we got to be ready for. Coach Kriesky is the best around here, so we've got to prepare these young men and have them ready to play next week.
Let's talk about some people. You've mentioned several, particularly defensively. Offensively, Javion was 12 of 20 for 128 yards and a touchdown, while rushing for 46 yards. Now, that doesn't look to the naked eye. Well, that's not that. But against Maryville, 12 of 20, 128 yards and a touchdown, and then rushing in the shape that he was in, I would think a little adrenaline helped him a little bit. But getting those 46 yards, those were big ones. Yeah.
And I say this, man. People's been negative about our offense all year and how we should be more explosive, man. But these guys execute what we ask them to do. We'd love to be more explosive, but what we asked Javion to do, what we asked we got 3 really good backs. If we can pound it out, eat the clock up, that helps our defense, And then when we ask Brylan to go up and catch a pass, he's going to do it. When we need him, he's going to do it. He 4 catches, 60-something yards, a touchdown. It was huge. Kari Dixon made a huge catch. I believe it was on a hitch route and cuts it back. That when we ask our receivers, we got Kari Dixon, Brylan O'Dore, Bryson Mitchell. When we need them to make a play, they make a play.
Well, you saw that last night.
Yeah,
big clutch catches. When you really needed them.
Yeah, and that's what we asked them to do. I guess I'll get all the negative talk, but that's like. I like to control the football. Keep our defense off the field. Let them rest. Let's eat up some clock, and then let's move forward. But we've got guys that are playmakers. When we need them to make plays, they make plays. And huge shout out to our offensive line. Kennedy Jackson leading the way. Terry Baskin, Nacho, Jug, all those young men, Nehemiah, all those guys have done a great job for us, and the entire group, really proud of them.
I go back and not the old saying, win it in the trenches, man. You guys really dominated that part, that phase of the game. Defensive line putting pressure on their quarterback all night long. It seemed like he was running for his life half the time, and you got to do that against the quarterback. You can't let him sit back there in the pocket and just take his time. No,
he's really good, and when we did give him time, he either ran it or he made a play, and so we're very fortunate. Our guys were able to get some pressure on him and let him not let him escape the pocket, and they did a really good job. So
he's a good runner too. So you not only had to pressure him, but you had to contain him, right? I mean, that's not an easy thing to do a lot of times.
No, not with him. He's a really good quarterback, and so I thought they did a great job, and so I'm really proud of them. The entire defense, defensive staff, and the game plan, what they came up with, and how we executed it.
And I'm sure you were telling all in practice, you got to containment. Mm-hmm. You got to watch him, and they really did that. I mean, I hate to keep using the word perfectly, but that's kind of what they did. I mean, it was a game where they struggled all night offensively, and it's because of the defense, I think.
Yeah, and. Defense, I tell you, one of the big things was defense made a huge stop. I believe it was the second quarter. They punted the ball into the wind, and it bounced back into our, gave a good bounce back towards them, and so it was huge. And so we were able to get the ball, in good field position and score on it. And so the defense put us in great positions all night long. And then at the end of the game, Braxton Benally had a huge punt, put it down, was it on the 2-yard line? It takes all three. And this time of year, it takes all three phases of the game to win.
Yeah.
And I thought we did a really good job.
Offense, defense, special teams. I mean, that's. I don't know what else there is to say. Daniel Smith also had a touchdown run. Kemp, 12 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown. It was really one of the most team-oriented wins, I think, that I can remember in a while, and I've seen a few in this region, but that was a really good, what you'd call a team win.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of these communities, there's guys in the stands that's probably been at Blackman since the doors open, and they were saying, I know our kids heard all week of, since the last time that Maryville beat Blackman, they haven't got over that, and I think it really, our kids heard it all week. And then they heard, there's no way that we'd have a chance against Maryville. They took pride in it. They liked, they accepted the challenge. There's not many people around. I told the guys all week, every day after practice, there's not many people other than us in this huddle right now that believes we're going to win. And it is what it is. We haven't been in this position, when Maryville comes here year in and year out. And so, they accepted the challenge, and a huge shout out to them. This is the first time in Blackman history that Blackman has won 12 games in a season. So that's huge. And then these guys accepted the challenge, proud of them. But we can't be satisfied. We got to move, like I told them, enjoy today, but we got to move on because we got a huge challenge next week.
Will Kriesky's our guest here on the.
Did you say Will? Did you say you
I
said
did
Will?
say didn't Matt.
Are you serious?
I know. I'm sorry.
You're missing him.
No, I'm not missing him. Oh, well, maybe, I guess. I don't know. But Matt Kriesky, our guest here on the Prentice Salsa Heating and Air Coach's Corner. And, Matt, when you sit here and you would love to, celebrate this thing for, a month, 2 months, whatever. And you just mentioned it. You can't afford to. You got to play next week.
No, I mean, it's. Again, I go back to my wife. She knew as soon as I walked in the door last night that, I'm ready to move on. And she was like, "You're not happy?" I was like, "No, I'm stressing
it's the
about.
Way to be.
I'm stressing about Coach Kriesky. I'm stressing about Oakland.
Yeah.
But maybe January or end of December I can reflect and enjoy this. But right now, no, I'm not. I'm thinking about our practice plans for next week. Thinking about what we need to do, how we need to prepare. and put these guys in position to win. Because if we as coaches, we as myself, we put these guys in a good position, and give us a chance. They're going to do what we try to our game plan to execute. So it's we got to put them in a great position next week.
With the rescheduling, the realignment of the playoffs this year, having two Rutherford County teams in the semifinals is such a pleasure, such a treat, and I'm going to be biased here, but I think that's the way it should have been for a good while. I mean, and two Rutherford County teams, so somebody's guaranteed a state bid. Does that? I guess it puts more added pressure, I guess, on both teams. I know. I mean, but somebody's going to represent Rutherford County. I think that's a good thing that we're in this position. Yeah,
and if TSSAA, if they want to make money, they should have done this years ago, because it's huge. They're about making money in these playoff games, and you put two Rutherford County teams in semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure. Hopefully that Oakland have a great turnout. Hopefully that our Blackman fans will show up, and the entire community. I mean, you got two Rutherford County teams playing in a semifinal game on Thanksgiving week. We expect a huge turnout over there on Patriot Drive, and I got I think it's 4 or 5 guys that played there on my staff. And so it's going to be huge for them. It's going to be huge. I coached there 8-9 years. I was over there. It's huge. I was part of the 2008 state championship over there. So it's huge. This county football, the brand of football here, is really good. I told a reporter last night from Maryville, our 5th or 6th team probably could have made the playoffs and probably could have won a playoff game. That's our style of football here. You week in and week out. I told y'all from week 3, it's here on out. It's playoffs.
Well, we talked about getting there. That hasn't been an easy schedule for you to get here in terms of the playoffs. I mean, long travel, then Maryville, and now Oakland. But one thing about it, you guys just seem to always. I mean, it doesn't seem to affect you guys very much in terms of your kids.
No, they just we're at the point where they're embracing practice. They're enjoying around being each other. They're enjoying the process. They're enjoying the film study and enjoying to get better each week and to becoming, our whole motto each week is to become 1-0. And so once they finally, we finally matured as a team and gotten better and understanding the preparation and what you need to do to prepare for a Friday night football game.
I know there's really to ask this question. I know Oakland's got a good quarterback duo. They've got Travion Jackson, Craig Tutt, Cullen Williams, all those names you throw out there. They're very good depth wise. Got a lot of speed.
Yeah, they do. We're going to slow them down. We're going to play a better offensively. We're going to do a lot better job than we did in the first game. And we'll have to come out ready to play 48 minutes of football because I know Coach Kriesky is going to have those guys prepared and ready to play. And so it's going to be tough, But
and that's another team. No lead is safe. I mean, really, they're similar to Maryville. I mean, you could be up 21-7, and you still got to worry about them.
Yeah. Watching their film last night, Green Hills was up 17-7, and they came back and won 21-17. So it's you're gonna have to play 48 minutes, the full 48 minutes of football. So it's gonna be a tough challenge. But I know our guys are gonna accept it. And be ready next week, and so it's going to be exciting. I'm excited for this county. I'm excited for the Blackman community. Second time in school history to make semifinals. This is about the community. One thing I saw. Big Nate, our youth football director. He in 3 years I've been here. I've never seen any emotion from him, but for him to get happy when that clock. Went 0, I turned around and just saw him happy, man. That meant the world to me because I know how much time he invests in this community, in the youth league, and to see that smile on his face and him celebrating meant a lot.
I would imagine there were some tears from people last night.
There was. Clarissa Smith, she was excited.
Yeah.
And so just, Kelly Beam, just people that's been around this program for a long time. Rich Allen, Dr. Allen, man, he texts me every week, and then give me his input, but for people like that to see the win last night and enjoy it, it means the world. That's what it's about, man. These guys have been invested in this community, in the school, and in this program for years. To enjoy a win like this, it means the world to me.
I know you got a special guest here with you, and he knows about as much as what happened last night as anybody on the coaching staff. In fact, he was telling me it was 1 yard instead of 2 yards, right? Is that what you're saying? But it's exciting for those kids, and I think that's good for football in general in this county and everywhere, because that's what the excitement is, what builds up, and people want to play, people want to be a part of it. And I don't know that any sport is like that other than football.
No, I mean, football teaches you life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
We had some things that happened Tuesday. We had some things that happened Thursday that I'd have told you walking in Friday morning to school that I didn't know if we would be ready to play Friday night at 7:00. But I told the kids that's what life's about. You're going to have days in your week where they're not going to be great days. You're going to have a Tuesday that's not going to be great. You're going to have a Thursday that you may do something that's not smart or not right, but how are you going to overcome it? How are you going to respond when you don't do something right? Are you going to keep doing the wrong, but are you going to turn around and make the situation better for yourself and for everybody else around you? It's when they get older, it's how are they if they make a wrong decision as a husband, are they going to keep making the wrong decisions, or are they going to turn the situation around and make better choices? And that's what I want them to do. Is like I want to teach them life lessons. And that's what football's about, is teaching life lessons. So hopefully one day, they'll learn from it. I will tell you this: I walked out at halftime, and there was a young man standing on the fence that I coached at Centennial, and he said some words to me, and I got a little emotional, but like for him to show up there, I mean, he's moved off from Franklin, but he was standing on the fence, and then he was cheering us on, and first thing he said to me, he was like, "Coach, you got 24 minutes, go get him." And he said, "I love you, Coach. Thank you for everything that you've ever done for me." And I mean, stuff like that means the world to me. I mean, he didn't have to take time out of his day to come and watch us play, but we as coaches, we don't realize how much of an impact we have on these young men.
It made the effort to come and tell you that, too. It's going to be quite a night next week, and I did want to say I was the first person to interview you when you came to Murfreesboro.
Yeah, and you tried to get me fired, too.
No,
yes, you did.
No, that was
Mr. Smith told me all about it.
Mr. Smith. But anyway, and we talked about how long this would take, and we were pretty much right on it, I think. So, but glad to be able to do this interview today. That's Matt Kriesky, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. They take on Oakland on what is it? It's Friday, isn't it?
It is Friday.
That's after Thanksgiving. I'm so used to going to Maryville.
Oh my gosh! Here you go.
Oh no, just kidding. Great game. This portion of the show brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Is your car running like a dream, or does it need a little TLC? At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna,